Hello everybody, John Control back here again with another video, and today I bring you another who would win battle. Now, last time I gave you my Toph versus Gaara fight, which, to be completely and utterly honest with you guys, I actually feel very disappointed in doing that in general. Like, don't get me wrong, I like the characters of Toph and Gaara from the Avatar and Naruto series, but I don't know, when I did it, it was more of a rant towards Screw Attack and the way they've been doing things, and mostly just towards the attacks towards the anime community. So that was kind of like what I was going towards. It's kind of just like one big rant instead of a speculation, which is what the Who Would Win Battle series segment on my channel is supposed to be. But overall, you know, you just got to move on from there, and plus, I'm too freaking lazy to do another one, so I'm going to just leave it as it is. But anybody who's disappointed by the video I eventually made, I'm sorry, but that's kind of just how I felt about it. And plus, at the end of the day, either one character could win, you know? I mean, like, Toph is awesome, Gaara is awesome. It's a coin toss, but overall, if you want to know my speculated fight, my breakdown, if you will, of that fight, definitely go check out that video where I'll have a link at the end of this video so you can check that out. But nevertheless, I'm here to give you my new Who Would Win battle, which is possibly the most strangest speculated fight that I was requested to do. Now, I've gotten some really weird requests to do that I've, you know, never really had any intentions to do, kind of similar like the Silver Sonic versus Mewtwo, or the Toph versus Gaara, but this one definitely tops all of them. Mojo Jojo from the Powerpuff Girls series versus Koba from the Dawn of the Planet of the Apes series. Now, personally, I would have never dreamt of putting these two characters together to fight to the death. But I was requested to do it, and you know, I love pleasing all of you guys at home, all of you boys and girls at home. I know that it sounds creepy when I say it that way, but overall, you get what I'm getting at. Overall, Mojo Jojo versus Koba is the most weirdest speculated fight that I was requested to do, but I'm here doing it anyways. And when I kind of think about it, I kind of understand why someone would request this, because those two characters are kind of like the same. They're both chemically experimented, engineered super apes who hate human beings, and they both talk. So I kind of get where people are coming from, where like, oh, these characters should fight, but basically it's so easy to determine who could win in a fight that I'm gonna try and make this as brief as possible. But let's get right into the fight itself. Let's start off, well, first off, for anybody who's never seen any of my Who Would Win battles, basically I get two characters, whether they're from comic books, anime, movies, television, video games, put them in a ring together, an imaginary ring, if you will, give you a brief rundown of their powers and abilities, then give you a speculated fight as to how I determine these characters would fight against each other, then give you an overall winner on my speculation, unbiased, of course. And then I ask the obvious question, who do you think would win in a fight? Now, let's start off with Mojo Jojo's powers and abilities. Now, Mojo Jojo, unlike his Powerpuff counterparts, doesn't technically have powers and abilities of his own, but he's, of course, a super engineered ape, or monkey, whichever you want to go with, who was experimented on, and on the day of the explosion of the Chemical X experiment that the professor was doing, he obviously was exposed to this explosion, and instead of having superpowers like the Powerpuff Girls, he had a morphed brain, and of course he has the ability to talk, and he also has the ability, he has super genius intellect, if you will. So that's basically a rundown of his powers and abilities. But if you include the spin-off anime series, Powerpuff Girls Z, ironically enough, he has actual powers and abilities. Unlike Koba, or his normal Powerpuff Girl counterpart, he has, of course, advanced engineering and mechanical skills like his American version, and he, at one point, was temporary He had the temporary ability to use all the Powerpuff Girls' powers, and he also can fly, and he has a specific technique called the Roto Mojo, which I guess is when he spins his cape like a rotor blade. So I guess there's that. But nevertheless, he also has a Super Brain Blast, which is pretty interesting just in the title itself. But overall, that's kind of like a brief rundown of the powers and abilities of Mojo Jojo. Anyways, let's move off of that and go into Koba. Koba is quite simple. Of course, he's from the movie series, the new Planet of the Apes series, if you will, not the old version. Koba is basically a normal ape who was engineered and chemically altered, kind of like Caesar, where he has kind of advanced intellect, and of course he can speak similar to Caesar, and obviously, like most apes, has superhuman strength, and of course is definitely very primal in his fighting skills, which most apes are, of course. Now, I can sit here and talk about all apes all the time, but of course, you know, this is just too absurd to continue to brag on, so let's just go right into the fight in and of itself. Now, first off, let's start off with the American Mojo Jojo. Mojo Jojo has the ability to basically take down Koba very easily. Basically, Mojo Jojo, I'm pretty sure, would have the foresight to create some kind of diabolical device, like some kind of super death ray, and just basically annihilate, and just obliterate Koba. Koba, basically, let's think of it in these type of terms. The first fight, if you're basing it on full physical strength, I say Koba wins. Mojo Jojo, after the overall, basically his entire life, he's always never lived the full experience of being an actual ape, so he's basically just a pet. And also, after the experiment, he lives majority of his life kind of similar to a normal human being. Koba, on the other hand, is full-on primal. So if you put them in a fight together, I pretty much guess that Koba would basically go to Mojo Jojo and fucking eat his fucking face off. So that's just fight number one. So Koba, he definitely has it on a one-to-one hand-to-hand combat match. Second fight, the American version of Mojo Jojo, and of course using all his powers and abilities, would create some kind of death beam slash super device to basically annihilate fucking Koba from existence. So that's pretty much game over for him. Number 3, if you include the anime version, which is basically Mojo Jojo Powerpuff Girls Z, basically isn't that much of a difference. The only difference is that he'll look cooler, of course, and of course he'll also have some kind of abilities. If you include him having Powerpuff Girl abilities, then Koba would be destroyed. Now, if you include normal weaponry, like American guns, machine guns, AK-47s, grenades, all that type of awesome stuff that Koba used in the movie Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, which is pretty awesome, one of the best movies of 2014, if I say so myself. He would just shoot the shit out of Mojo Jojo, because Mojo Jojo, as we all know, basically likes to rant before he does anything, and he basically has like a super genius god complex where he basically thinks that he's gonna win. He's kind of like a James Bond villain, but the older James Bond villains, where they basically, you know, say everything at the end and think they're gonna win, and then James Bond just kicks off some kind of super kick-ass karate move that makes no sense, and then he wins. So that's kind of like what Mojo Jojo is. Basically, he'll just do something or say something to fuck up time, and then Koba would just go get a gun, put it to his fucking head, and go kill his ass. So, there's that. But, then again, it's all speculation. If I had to give my unbiased opinion, I'd have to go with Mojo Jojo. Mojo Jojo is just smarter, he has skill, he's an excellent mechanical engineering bastard, and of course, he has superpowers. Depending on your personal preference, he has superpowers, or just superhuman abilities just in general. But if you have to base it on hand-to-hand combat, Koba could win, and of course, if Mojo Jojo takes too much time talking and being like, I'm going to rule the world because I am Mojo Jojo, basically, Koba's just gonna get a handgun and just shoot his head off, or his big brain off, unless that helmet protects him, which I doubt it will, because, you know, at the end of every fight, it's always broken, so I really don't know. But at the end of the day, if I had to just put in all my chips on the table and just say who the heck I think would win, I have to go with Mojo Jojo. Mojo Jojo, I think, is an awesome character. Even though Dawn of the Planet of the Apes was one of the best movies of 2014 and Koba was an awesome antagonist, Mojo Jojo's just awesome. He's just a badass. His character's awesome. He's definitely one of the best parts of Powerpuff Girls, which is hands down one of my favorite cartoons. You know, you say what you want, but it's fucking Powerpuff Girls is awesome. I'm gonna go down on the line and say that shit. But nonetheless, Mojo Jojo for the win. Mojo Jojo wins. Let me know what you personally think in the comment section below. Who do you think would win in a fight between Mojo Jojo versus Koba? Let me know in the comments below. Nonetheless, we have come to an end of this Who Would Win battle. This is pretty much my shortest out of all my Who Would Win battles, if I'm not mistaken, which makes a lot of sense, seeing as how neither one of these characters has, you know, an extensive list of powers and abilities, and of course, the request is kind of absurd in of itself, but I like it nonetheless, so, of course, you know, don't feel bad for asking. And of course, if you have, you know, any type of request, whether it's crazy or the most popular, just let me know in the comment section below. If you leave a request in the comment section below, I will do it. So definitely don't be shy to request an awesome match. Of course, it makes me feel better about myself, hopefully makes you feel better about yourself, and of course, helps me sleep at night that I can push the Goku versus Superman fight a little farther away. Nonetheless, I'm going to give you a teaser for my next win-win battle, which will be against the almighty Thor versus Ultimate Gohan. Yes, I'm going to give you my full-on thesis and, of course, breakdown on who I think would win against a Marvel character versus a Dragon Ball Z character. Now, I know, based off everything that you just heard right now, controversy is bound to happen with that fight, but I like to think of it as like a predecessor to the Goku vs. Superman fight. So if you want to know the general gist of how that fight's going to go, you have to check out the Thor vs. Gohan, which I'll be doing pretty soon. So definitely check that out. Of course, comment below. Let me know what you personally think about my fight, Mojo Jojo versus Koba. How do you think that would go down? Who do you think would win overall between the two? And of course, let me know what your personal thoughts on Thor versus Gohan, which I'll be doing next week or pretty soon from now. And, of course, give me some requests for future Who Would Win battles, because I'll definitely be doing them, and I love doing them. They're fucking awesome. Mojo Jojo versus Koba, I would have never done it, but because of you guys requesting it in the comments, I'm doing it right now. So, definitely don't be shy to request stuff like that. So nonetheless, Thor vs. Gohan's on the way. Link in the end of the video to Toph vs. Gara. Definitely check that out as well. Hope you guys enjoyed. This has been John 12.